Good evening. Pleasure to be here. It's quite a crowd, right? So, the clock is running, so let's get going here. We'll take a bit the bigger picture and see where all this fits. And as you could see here already, we don't have much time. There's an urgency of getting things done. If we want to avoid the major tipping point, we can expect, or I think need to always have in the back of our mind. And as you heard also, we know basically a lot of things that we should be acting and not just procrastinating, as like I think most people do, even over in Le Bourget. So I think we can take some indication of what happened before. And I always like to go back to this famous report called the International Assessment of Agricultural Knowledge, Science and Technology for Development. It was published in 2009, and since then actually we know that we need to change, and we even know how to change. That report called for a change in paradigm in our agricultural and food systems. That we need a total transformation if we want to move ahead and have a chance to survive. 2009, how many years has that been since? And how much has happened? So you can ask yourself. And actually we published a number of reports for policymakers, or some for basic scientists, but they were shorter versions for decision makers, 20 pages. We were hoping that the Minister of Agriculture, Environment, people in charge of nutrition would actually read. But we were quite surprised that almost none did. And it's only the NGO community who kept this report alive and actually made sure that we are still talking about it today and get it implemented. A few main points out of this report. So basically, when you have your fields and your grasslands, so this produces our food, right? So here we produce food, eat it. Now what is below this is very important. These are what we call the ecosystem services. So we have, for example, pollination, we have pest control. We have, very important here, we have water cycling and nutrient cycling. This is all nature gave it to us. And also farmers, they're also out there in the system working to get things done, producing the food people need around the globe. But now what's happened? And that's so the big part of the system. The business came in and we replaced nature with business. Is that smart? Well, maybe for the ones who want to make money. But I think for us, for all of the population of the world, it's not very smart, because now we have to use a lot of water for irrigation. We have to use pesticides and herbicides and fungicides to actually protect, because we have destroyed our natural pest management. And we use a lot of fertilizer, and now again also GMOs. So that was free, and now we replace with money, and you're all paying. You're paying different ways. And one way you're paying it is through all the CO2 we've been producing, because nothing produces more CO2 than fertilizer production and utilization, for example. That's all based on oil products. So do we need it? Yes, we need it if we want to make money. And actually, if we want to save money and do well, we should actually go back and do what's down here. And that's exactly, I think, what we have tried to demonstrate in the report. Now the question then is, can it be done? So we took all this good information from that report, put it into a model for UNEP. It's in here, but you can go check it. UNEP Green Economy Report 2011. And we calculated, so if we were to go green, implement basically all what we know about sustainable agriculture, that's what we would get. Numbers for production, crops, deployment, quality of soil, water use. And if we continue business as usual, that's what we get. Now, first of all, we have to look at down at the bottom. We would produce, going green, having a sustainable agriculture, 2,500 calories per person per day by 2050. If we go business as usual, we actually have even a bit less. So you know that a lot of people out there say we need more food, we need to produce twice as much for 2050. Well, bloody nonsense actually, because we today produce twice as much food as the world needs. We produce per person per day now 4,600 basically already, but that doesn't go into actually eating, because a lot is wasted. A lot of it goes actually in ethanol, in biofuels, So that's all wasted. But again, if we want to change agriculture, if we want to have good production, more employment, we're going to have a lot of more people coming. Good soil quality, we just heard it before. So you can see that soil quality is much better here on the degree version than in the business as usual. We use much less water. We use less land, not more, and actually we deforest a whole lot less. So why are we still talking about industrial agriculture, large scale, when we know that we can do things very differently? And again, why? I guess many of you know, is because of a lot of vested interests we have out there. The elephant in the room, people who stand in the way. Oops, something happened there, but I just want to show that when you change agriculture, you will actually even increase the GDP over the years. You will actually also reduce poverty significantly. We need to reduce poverty. We want to have less water stress, and also our footprint should be smaller. So basically, when you go around, you can see how a green and a sustainable agriculture can help everybody around the world. But you cannot do that without every one of you doing your part, and myself too. Because the only thing is the other has to do something. Now, in this case, we all have to do it. And the transformation of the production will not happen unless we transform our consumption pattern. It will not. Because the farmers can only grow what people eat in the end, and also in the way the people are ready to pay for it. Because if we always want cheap food, we're going to end up really with the wrong end. So, what is in the plate really matters. I can tell you a lot. And if we want to change this agriculture, which because we don't have meat and milk products, we have a very black and dark agriculture which produces a lot of greenhouse gases, we need to change this. And if we change that pyramid and we start to eat a lot in that area here, we're going to have an agriculture which that is the one we want. The one which is going to fix, which is going to sequester the carbon down into the ground. We have much less wastage, which is also producing a lot of the carbon we have been talking about until now. And any system, you can see, we talked about this before, or heard it from Andre, that we need to put the carbon back in the ground. In systems which are perennial, they have deep roots, the fertilizer can be produced by the plants themselves, and even the plants themselves, in a proper system where we use now good science, will actually protect themselves from insect and diseases. So we know all this. These are things which are known for 20 years or more. And how many people are using it? Very few. And again, the problem here is the people which are standing in the way. And by the way, this is maize grows without fertilizer. This can be done. This produces 4 to 10 times more than the traditional production, with local varieties. No GMOs, no hybrids, just local varieties. Why are we not doing it? Again, the elephant in the room, and we need to start to talk about it. So, where are we right now? We know we can change things. So we need to change at national level, we need to change things at global level. And we have a unique opportunity right now. This opportunity are the Sustainable Development Goals, SDG, ODD en français. And I think if you want to go, so we need now to implement. At national level, every country needs to assess its agriculture. Where are we? What have we done? How do we do to change it to meet those targets? There are 169 targets in there, many of them related to agriculture. So again, so this is really sort of the SDG process here. UN agencies will need to help. And we have one gap in this whole SDGs, is what we talk about in Paris this week and last week, or this week and the end of the week. To fill the box of climate change, and you will see how it connects to many others. And we also have another organization, is the Committee on World Food Security, where I think we could have a lot of discussion. So again, we have many different organizations which are set up, which could help to make this transformation. Because we know what to do, I showed you before, and now we need to put this into practice. We can't wait much longer. So we have to use all what we have. The Committee on World Food Security, for example, based in Rome, they need now to pick up the part of agriculture and push it and help the countries do it. the Sustainable Development Goals, you can see all the goals are actually connected to agriculture and food. Because everything is actually connected in our world. And what happened in the past, people started to do a little bit work here, with the Millennium Development Goals, and that's why we didn't get what we wanted. So this time around, we need to start to understand that things are connected, and we need to look at it as in the connection. So this is just a representation. These are the main the goals and targets. And this is a big spider web. And we have to start to see ourselves, our organizations, in different places and connect with others. But the tendency is that everyone works in his own little corner, and that's no longer something we can afford to do. So let's connect all together. We even have another report, which is very important, many people don't know it. It's the report on agriculture from the Secretary General. What does he say? Agroecology and organic and regenerative agriculture can make substantial contribution to what we think targets, and we just look at them, many. So again, we have all the wording, we have the framework. So again, why are we not starting to invest our money better? And I think in an earlier slide, I showed you that the cost to transform agriculture on the global scale is 140 billion a year for the next 50 years. Imagine now that every year the governments of the developed countries spend 500 billion in subsidies to agriculture so that you can have cheap food, lousy food on your plate. So maybe you want to wake up and start to elect other people into office, because that will not change as long as we have the political framework we have right now, because we know that. So that money, this 500 billion, could be invested for something else. For example, what we heard before, get this carbon down into the ground, change the way we do agriculture. Can be done. And that's a process which we start, again, multi-stakeholder, we need to get everybody involved in this. We need to look at what the options are, what may come out, so we can do this, we can use our modern tools, modeling, for example. We need to discuss the policies, implement them, and then see what happens once a new policy is in place. And so, once we know that, we're going to go into a spiral, a growing and positive spiral. Because until now, the last 50 years or 60 years of agriculture and human evolution, we were going in a spiral going down. Now we need to reverse it going up. Thank you very much.